Good morning, church. Hope you're having a great week. It's been a beautiful week once again here in Redding, California. Had a great Sunday last week as we were able to meet again in person in our amphitheater. Once again, praising the Lord that we have that amazing amphitheater. It is so beautiful out there on Sunday mornings, and the green grass and the trees that are starting to grow up, the big oak tree behind the stage, and then of course all the amazing faces out there in the crowd, and being able to worship together. I love what China's been doing the first couple of weeks as she's been leading us in worship. She's done a great job, and a great job of her band, and a great job by so many of making sure we're set up to do the outdoor service, yet also recording our services on Friday for online. Been great to see how many have shown up as well and to our outdoor services. Glad that so many of you can make it, and excited to be able to continue. We will be outdoors in the amphitheater again this Sunday at 8:30. So just want to let you know, of course, that if you're watching the weather, it's going to be warmer this weekend. It's supposed to be 100 degrees on Sunday. So it will probably be pretty close to 80 degrees, if not already 80 degrees by 8:30 when our service begins. So that is going to be warmer than it's been the last 2 weeks by probably about 10 degrees. So please just consider that coming out this week. Make sure you bring an umbrella of some sort. Again, we don't want the pop-up tents because that's going to block people's ability to see and whatnot. But if you bring an umbrella, that will be perfect. And you can set that up. And there were a couple last week that were out, but just encourage you to bring an umbrella to help to beat that heat. There are a few shady spots with the trees that we have, but not a lot of shady spots yet. A few years down the road, we'll be ready to go, and we won't need to bring umbrellas because we'll have plenty of shade out there. But anyway, so this week, make sure you bring your umbrellas. Also, I wanted to remind you, we've been doing a great job with the masks. So make sure that we're just asking people to wear masks from basically transition from their car until they get to their seat. And once they get to their spot and socially distanced from other families, then you can take the mask off and worship together, and it's been working really well. And then after the service and in conversations, again, making sure you wear your mask. And just, I want to say something. I know it's hard. I do not like wearing a mask, and it is really hard to have to do this, and especially in Redding, where we are seeing so few cases. Although this week it's kind of, we've had a bunch that have come on this week, but for the most part, Redding's been pretty isolated from the virus, and so we haven't had a lot of people around that are sick. But we need to continue to be diligent in wearing the mask, and so in reminding you that we're doing this so that those who are most vulnerable to the virus, if they want to join us, they can join us with some sense that they are going to be around people that are wearing masks, aren't going to get them sick. And obviously, people who are sick, we're asking you to stay home. Don't come to service if you're sick. We don't want you at our church service right now if you're sick like that. So be sure you stay home. But if you're got no symptoms and you're feeling well, then we're just asking to make sure you wear a mask, just because of asymptomatic spread and those kind of things. So again, we're doing this so that we're wearing masks. We're kind of putting ourselves out. Those of us who are healthy or not so vulnerable to the virus, we are using these protocols and choosing to abide by these protocols in order to save and to help those who are more vulnerable to the virus. So I just encourage you to do that. I also wanted to mention too, I know there's some of you who are not coming to our services because of the masks, because you don't want to wear a mask, or you can't wear a mask, or whatever it may be. And I just want to mention to you as well, if you can't wear a mask for some reason, if that's, it creates, maybe claustrophobia for you of some sort or whatever, and it's just something you can't handle, we want to encourage you to still come out. And you don't have to, if that's you, you don't have to come and wear a mask. But we would ask just you make sure that you're socially distanced from people, even more so than those who are wearing masks. And try to, even as you enter and as you're traveling from your car, just be careful that, you're not too close to people. So that we can, again, kind of help to mitigate the spread of the virus. So if that's you, we don't want you to be left out of the service as well. If you think if that's you're struggling with that piece, we encourage you to still show up, but just make sure you stay that extra 6 feet, 7, 8 feet away from people, and kind of to mitigate that spread again. So I know this is a hard time. It's really challenging, and there's so many opinions on either side of this. But understand that the virus is a real thing, and this is why we're responding the way we are. This is why we're seeking the Lord in this, and we're feeling like He has not released us from putting in these protocols and mitigations. Because the virus is a real thing. Even if you don't believe the 117, 118,000 Americans who have lost their lives to the virus, even if that number is less than 100,000, maybe it's 80,000, whatever, that's still a lot of lives that have been lost. It is true that this virus it spreads like crazy, so you just need one person. We had a party this week in Reading where 7 people got sick from one kind of exposure. So the reality is the virus is real. It does spread very readily, especially in mass gatherings like we have. And we want to try to do all we can to mitigate that spread happening at one of our church services. So anyway, just encouraging you, and along that lines, James 1, and I don't want to throw scripture at you and say, oh, you have to wear a mask because of because of what scripture teaches. That's not my point. My point is that trials come. James 1:1-2. Consider pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And we need to let perseverance finish its work so we can maybe mature and complete, not lacking anything. And this is a trial, right? And it's difficult for those of us who don't want to wear masks, don't think we need to wear masks. For those of us who do want to wear masks and feel like everybody should be wearing a mask, this is a real trial. To not be looking at people on the other side and being critical of them and angry about that, putting them down or shaming them in some way. This is a trial for us. But understand that James is talking about perseverance. This is a trial that's not just like a one-day trial, right? It's not just a couple of days or a week and we're done with this. We're into this 3 months now, and it is a trial that is developing perseverance in us if we allow it. And so just want to encourage all those on both sides of this, those who think that everybody should wear a mask and those who think that nobody should wear a mask. Let's recognize what is God doing in us in this. To not, why are we struggling so much to wear a mask? Is if it's not like a medical condition or a concern that we have, claustrophobia or whatever. But even if it's that, right? Why are we responding that? Why is our body acting that way? Why are we angry about that? If we think that everybody should be wearing a mask and we're angry and frustrated and fearful because people aren't, we need to allow ourselves to examine that as well. What is going on? What is God doing in us? What is He stirring in us so that we can understand that? So anyway, just encourage you that way. And then finally, other good news. This week we are opening up our kids ministries. We're not going to have nursery, not yet, but hopefully maybe next week we'll have that up and ready to go. But no nursery this week, but we're going to have preschool through 5th grade is going to be happening. This Sunday we're going to have a Sunday school class, so preschool and kindergarten, your parents drop your kids off before the service begins. The 1st grade through 5th grade, they will meet in the not in the sanctuary, but in the amphitheater. They will start the service with us out there, and then we'll dismiss you to go to your class. So kindergarten or preschool through 5th grade this week. It's going to be a great week to be able to start that up again. And thank you to Nancy and all her amazing workers who are going to be making sure that's ready to go and taking care of our kids. And so that'll be awesome. So if you have kids, this is the Sunday for you. You've been waiting for us to have childcare, or not childcare, but Sunday school going. It's going to be up and running again this week. So that's great news. Also, of course, kids camp starts on Monday. If you haven't registered for that already, we're sorry, but it's too late. We needed to know who all was coming ahead of time, so that we can put some things in place before we get there, before the kids get there, and all that kind of stuff. Again, just protocols in order to kind of mitigate how many kids we have, and making sure we have what we need to be able to care for them throughout the week. So that's exciting. So we got lots of things going on, good things going on, and we need to be excited about that, church. So I hope you have a great weekend. Looking forward to seeing you all at church on Sunday, 8:30. Don't forget your umbrella. God bless you, and we'll see you Sunday.